Hello, everyone. Today, we're continuing with the topic of casting. First, let's take a look at type conversion. We'll start by declaring a variable called str and assigning it the string value 25. Then, we define another variable called num, which will be of type number. Our goal is to assign the value of string to number. But if we try to assign it directly, TypeScript will throw an error because we're trying to assign a string to a number type. Just like in JavaScript, we can use the number function to convert a value from a string to a number. Let's check the result in the console. As you know, we use the npxtsc command to compile our TypeScript code into JavaScript. When we look at the output, we see 25, just as expected. Now let's also check the type. We can see that it's indeed of type number. So we've successfully performed the conversion. Type casting. Now let's look at another example. I'm creating a new variable called str2, and I'm assigning it the string 25. Next, I define a variable named num2, and this one should be a number. This time, instead of converting the value like before, I'll use type casting. So I write str2 as number. This is how we tell TypeScript to treat a value as a different type. However, since str2 is originally a string, and it doesn't make logical sense to treat it directly as a number, TypeScript recommends typing it to unknown first. We change it to unknown. So we write str2 as number, which basically tells TypeScript, I know this is a string, but treat it as a number. Then we log both the value and the type of num2 to the console. We compile the code again and check the result. In the console, we see the value 25, but the type is still string. This shows that we're not actually converting the value. We just told TypeScript to pretend it's a number. We assigned a string value to a variable typed as number, and the code ran without any errors. So essentially, this is not a real conversion. It's just a way to bypass type checking. Now let's create another variable called str3, and this time we give it the type any, because we want it to accept both string and number values without complaints. We assign the string value 25 to it again. Then we define a new variable called num3, and its type is number. This time, instead of using the as keyword for casting, we'll use the angle bracket syntax. This is another way of casting in TypeScript. After that, we log both the value and the type of num3 to the console. Just like before, the casting works. No error. We compile the code again and check the result. When we check the type, we still see string. That means the value didn't actually change. We just used casting to tell TypeScript to treat it as a number. And here's something interesting. We don't even have to use a number like string. I can assign a text like hello and still cast it to a number using the same syntax. And it doesn't throw an error. So yes, even though hello is clearly not a number, we can still assign it to a number-typed variable by using casting. When we check the console, the value is assigned successfully. Let's take note of these points for quick reference. Typecasting does not actually convert the data. It simply tells the compiler to treat a value as a different type. And with that, we wrap up the casting lesson. To summarize, we can use methods like number, string, and boolean to perform type conversions in TypeScript. Typecasting doesn't actually convert the data. It simply tells the compiler to treat a value as a different type, bypassing type checking. That's it for today. We will continue exploring Document Object Model in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.